All right, this thing's on. What's up,
All right.
everybody? Day 2 of our tire craziness, and I got Frank to hop on with me. So
What's up,
what's up?
guys?
So we got our super soft, medium. So and they are definitely, you can see one's a fair bit softer. It's different than the other. The medium still softer than than a reaction, so that's cool.
Yep.
As you saw a bunch of the pictures of the widths and dimensions and that stuff, what do you think? Do you think I fixed everything good?
I think so. The sizes look really good. The diameter looked perfect. It's about 1 millimeter taller than a Voodoo, about 2 millimeters shorter than a Reaction. I think that's spot on. The width, we measured a Voodoo on a wide wheel, and a Voodoo on a wide wheel, you're only getting about 42 to 43 millimeter of contact patch, but the whole wheel and everything's close to 50. So you've got 7 millimeter of dead space at the outside of the wheel, where yours is the same width as the wheel and it's filling all the space. So you got a bigger contact patch. And I think that's going to be really useful.
Yeah. Yeah, I was glad too to see that. I didn't want them to do like the sidewall logo stuff too heavy to like throw the tire out of balance. So they just did like a real light like laser etch in the tool.
Yep.
I mean, you can run your finger over it. I mean, it's there, but it's very slight. So
yeah, it won't affect the sidewall flex or anything, which is nice.
Yeah, so this one's not quite as solid, but so like in the belts too. Rotate that way. So you can see the belts are all nice and stitched.
Yep.
So they're wrapped, they're stitched, and they're also sunk in really nice. Like you can't, at least on all these that I dug through, I looked at about maybe 8 or 9 of them. Like none of them, the edges of the belts were lifted on any of them or anything like that. So these are solid. And these are also, so what they did is they ran the medium, they ran the soft, and then they ran the super softs. And what they're doing right now is actually the tool stayed on the mold.
Okay.
And so the rim samples that I posted pics of, they took those for test fit. So those are there, and they said everything looked and fit awesome, which it has here on all the wheels that I had printed up and made before. Sweet. So all that's good. And they also said they're going to send me the rims at the end of the week with about, they think about 500 to 750 pair of super softs.
Awesome.
So I won't have like a big batch of rims yet because the big batch of plastic for the rims is still in transit. Of the snowstorm they had, everything's a little bit late as far as that. So unfortunately, I won't have the production rims to go with all the tires. So like we're really close to like having.
You'll get a head start on packaging for everybody.
Yeah. So we'll be able to get a head start on some of that stuff for packaging, and that's kind of what we're planning on doing. Is each week basically they're gonna just start shipping in waves. So everything that they get done. Now the nice part is the rims go really fast. So basically, the first order that's in, they can do the wheel, or they'll have the wheels done in like 2 days. And then I'm actually placing the second order, or already have put in the PO and everything. But it'll just depend on materials if they can get the nylon in quick enough to be able to do the second run like concurrently and keep going. So
I'm pretty excited for you to post that video of the wheels spinning up on a tire tree. That's gonna be
like
for an injection molded wheel. That's incredible how true that is.
The crazy part is like like the video's got sound, and I'm like, okay, what am I looking at here? Like,
yeah, you can't tell the wheel's spinning.
When's it? It's loud. They're in the factory or whatever. And I'm like, when's it gonna spin? And then it stops, and I'm like, oh shit, that was spinning.
Yep.
So they're
impressive.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm paying for it in the old profit margin department, going where I went.
Yeah, what you pay for?
As fast as you guys are going now, I think this will be the difference between, winning and losing races. From these being true, they're round, yada yada yada. So
yeah, I mean, I
in the
spent
end,
hours balancing tires and wheels and just trying to get things perfect, to spin perfect, and even spending hours on stuff with the quality inspection that's out there on some of the stuff is just, it's difficult. It's
yeah. I mean, even
no
I'll
matter
be
how much
honest,
time you spend, it's not 100% perfect. You might get it 90%, but
yeah. And I
it's
mean,
far
honestly, even
between.
with the foam sheets, I mean, none of that stuff's exactly perfect. But
Yep.
even like going through stuff here, what we've done is the girls have been going through literally every single piece of foam, and then I even took just some Lexan, and I don't have it down here, but I literally cut like a go no go gauge.
Yeah.
So literally, I like cut it like, okay, because the way that they skive those sheets and everything, they're not exactly perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some tolerance in them. But I
Yep.
basically said, hey, this width, no bueno. Don't package it. Throw it in the box over here. We'll give it
And
back to them.
you got to do
Chop it
that.
up for cushion foam or something. So we're already going through all the foam inserts to try and make sure that they're within a tolerance range. So they've been doing that. So I think they have around 300 pair of soft foams already packaged and like
Nice.
500 or 600 mediums. So they're cruising along pretty good now.
Good.
They already melted the one package, the bag sealer.
Burned one
I
up.
bought a brand new one. It was dead like within an hour or two.
Yeah.
So we dug out the old one, and then I ordered another replacement. And
yeah.
So I have two printers here, one for like our packing labels and the little Dymo box right here. I printed one just for making all the other labels, so I don't melt one of those down. So just stuff like that, like we've kind of doubled up on, just to make sure we can crank through it, and it's not going to be oh crap, we can't do it.
Yeah, we talked about all that, man. You're going to run into some hardships along the way, and you just got to expect it and roll with the punches and get it figured out.
Yeah. So far it's been pretty decent though. So one of the things I did was, of course, grabbed each compound.
Yep.
And threw them on all the rims. So right now the super soft with the medium foam, and I'm gonna probably do like a little Excel chart screenshot and throw it up
for durometers.
Yeah, the durometers. And I also did. I talked to Chris Sanchez. He messaged me and we were talking a little bit. He made a really good point. And I'm gonna put up the numbers for both, just so that they're comparable, so people understand.
Do it at a temperature too, because the durometer changes if the tire's not cold.
Yes. So that was one of the first things I did, was just brought the tires in from the porch and threw them in
let them warm
upstairs with the boxes open and let everything warm up before I started looking at them. But the one thing I noticed, I don't know why that box is so hard to open. So I got the A and the O durometer.
Yep.
So you can see the tip difference on them. So I guess Chris said that some of the guys had actually punctured tires
with the sharp ones. Yeah,
just jamming them in. So I'm gonna get readings on both and basically like post a chart on what the mediums, the softs and super softs all check.
Yep.
With both of those, and then with pressure. But just from preliminary, because I think most people have the A. Isn't that what you have as an A durometer?
Yeah, I believe so.
So the super softs with medium foam are about 15 to 16.
Yep.
The medium foam with softs are 18, 19 ish. And then the mediums are 22, 23. So there's about a 3-4 point jump between them. And then if you go from the medium to the soft, it's about 2, maybe 3 points on the durometer.
Gives you some tuning options, especially with the foams and the option of air.
Yeah. So you can almost make like a soft be almost as soft as a super soft from just medium to soft foam.
Yep.
But and like you said, we are going to color code them. So I think we'll just do it old school style. We'll make the super soft yellow. We'll make the medium green and the soft green and the medium blue.
Yeah, that works.
We'll go old school foam colors on it all.
Nice.
So I don't know, it makes it easy for me. Then I know what I'm talking about.
At least the foams are easy to distinguish between the two.
Yes,
You know,
that's the
the
nice
white and
part.
gray.
Yes, that's the nice part. Oh, and weight wise, so the rims that I posted pictures of, the Super V's are 26 grams, which is I think really light for a rim.
Yeah.
But those are 26. The loopers are 28. The soft foam is about 6 grams. Medium foam is 8 grams, and then the tires are like 53 to 55. So basically, for the guys running air with the valves and like a Super V, the lightest combo you're going to get is about 82 grams per tire. The heaviest combo would be like the medium with medium foam and the air valves, and you're going to look at around 91 grams. So my 3D printed rims that I have here are heavier than what the actual productions are, because I have to beef them up in a few spots. So you don't destroy them in testing, but
yeah, so that's pretty. That's still, I
so
mean, that's
right
pretty
around
light.
92.
That's pretty light for the size of the tire, you know, and the contact patch you're getting.
Yeah.
That's along the same lines as a Voodoo, you know,
Yeah.
but it's more rubber, more contact patch.
Yeah.
But the same with wheel.
Yeah, and the big thing, like we were, like I know you were concerned about, is having the lateral stability so that you can run big power on the top end. And that's one of the things that I think everybody kind of struggles with, is that stability on top end. You end up putting a lot of downforce in the car, and then you end up with the tire basically compressing, and you lose SLR, so you lose gear, and your static load radius. So I think, I mean, and I hope the other big thing that I don't know if you want me or not, but I really think that because the tire is designed the way that we tested and worked on it, I do not think you're going to have to run the 26 to 2800 gram car. Like, I think these are going to change the game in that respect, to where it's proper racing now. Now you're going to want a light car with a good setup. To a point. There'll still be a break-even point, but I think now this is something new enough that's in the right threshold. And this is where I was talking about, where I think this is the type of stuff that's going to change how you like, obviously you want to go test and practice. This is the type of thing where I think you have to, like, okay, this is where we're at. Now what is possible again with these, and you're going to have to kind of revisit a bunch of.
Yeah, when I head south next weekend, I plan on using the car I've been running as a baseline on Voodoo tires, and reactions to see what the best numbers I can get out of it, in the 66 and 132. And then I want to try the Voodoos on a new lighter car to see if it'll hold, what the little bit heavier car will. And then I want to try your tires on both setups too, and see if we can add more down low power and maybe improve on the 66 foot from where we've been.
Yeah.
But I think we can, I mean, it's the way the tire is designed. It's got a bigger contact patch, I mean, it's got great sidewall flex. It's got hardly any lateral flex. I think it's the perfect tire to be able to put down killer 66 foot numbers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it's firm enough and rigid enough to still be stable upstairs on the big end.
Yeah. And I mean, that's what we saw when you tested before that.
Oh yeah,
I know. Yeah. And this is one of the things that I know a lot of people are gonna, I don't know if everybody knows how critical you are of things, but that was one of the things that was concerning me when I brought them out and you grabbed them and felt them. You're like, oh man, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because they feel so much different in your hand, because you literally have twice the foam under the rubber, so the range is totally different.
Yep.
I will say the interesting thing here is just sitting here playing with them is, like, if you take them and hold them off the table, like the super soft or the medium, and you drop them, like, they don't bounce.
Yeah, they're dead.
Like, I know everybody makes a big deal of non-rebound and all that kind of stuff, but I really think the inserts that we've chosen, like, they really, in the thickness of the foam, it takes all that out. So I think
that's like when you brought those test tires out. Yeah, when you brought those test tires out a couple months back, when I felt them, you're right. I was like, I don't know about this, you know. But then we threw it on the car and started dialing it in a little bit with the air.
Yeah.
And it felt incredible. I mean, every pass with them was perfectly straight, and we couldn't break the tires loose. You know, I mean, it was pretty good, especially for the weather we were running in.
It's freaking cold. I can't believe you go out there all day and test them.
Yeah, stupid.
Too old for that shit.
But yeah, with the changes that we talked about making and that you had made with the mold, with the slightly shorter diameter, you know, and clean some things up that we talked about with the edge, and I mean, it's got to be an amazing tire, you know, because how it reacted when it wasn't right was good.
And I mean, I'll share a little backstory on that now they're done. So basically the way I had designed them, I had put a little bit different profile on the inside of the carcass. And when the guy in the factory made them, now these are things that I think is a huge advantage of who we got to work with. So when they made them, they looked at it and said, no, you're going to have problems with the belts and that. So they changed the profile inside of the tire, and they kind of like merged the two dimension sets on everything. So what we wound up with was this upper corner right here being really thin. And that was one of the things when we, you know, that one tire I posted up that we tried air pressure.
Oh, yeah.
It was like 8 pounds or 9 pounds. The thing was like that freaking wide because everything was so thin up in that corner of the sidewall because of how they had changed the profile. So that was one of the things that's been addressed and fixed. And I mean, that upper corner now is it's right. It feels nice and solid, and you know the way it's supposed to. Oh, made it dirty. So that was one of the things I know we were really worried about, and that once I was able to communicate some of the stuff with them and work with them on it, man.
Ooh. I don't think you're gonna need conditioner on those tires.
I'm just laughing. Everybody posting their videos of their squeaky tires. Like, I didn't even clean anything off of these. These are straight out of the package. Like
they're off the floor.
Yeah, literally. So and they all do it.
Yeah.
So I got the squeaky tires too. So no conditioner needed. So we'll see.
Nope.
I'm pretty excited. I'm really curious, and this is the thing that kind of bums me that the kids have hockey next weekend.
Yeah.
I really just want to see the first hits and what the car does, and
we'll get a shit ton of video.
To see your reaction, because your reaction kind of tells all. You know, guys don't realize that, but like you stand there and you make a hit, and I'm like, that looked pretty good, and you're like, eh.
Yeah.
And then when it actually is a good one, and you're like,
yeah.
Like, oh, okay, shit, that must have been really good. Like
we have something to work with.
Make a kind of face at it, like, you know, like, oh, okay.
I've been doing this long enough. It's hard to impress me, you know. You know how it is.
Oh yeah. That's good. So yeah, those are kind of the weights and the diameters of everything, how it's looking right now. I am going to print up some more wheels. I started doing some already. But I am gonna get some more printed up. I'll probably do a video gluing some up, and like I said, because I got to glue some anyway to start playing with air pressure, to start getting that, like I said, that chart made for diameters on all that stuff. So I got to work on that and get that thing back going. I'm not a very good 3D printer owner at the moment. I've done it with each of these 3 printers. Actually, this one I didn't. But the other 2, I've been like, oh, okay. And I take the build plate off and I kind of tip it, and you know, because that thing's so giant.
Yeah.
I like go to tip it, and I'm scraping off some of the resin. It starts to slip out of my hand, and I bounce it down onto the LCD screen, and luckily they got a tempered glass like cover on that thing, so it didn't crack, but it scratched. It put a puncture in the FEP that like keeps all the resin from leaking out all over the thing. So I got to replace that. So it's in a holding pattern. So I'm going to do that after this video and get it loaded up with resin and make some more rims, so you have some stuff to test. But I'm hoping, being that it's not this weekend, I'm hoping that enough rims. Stupid computer warning. I'm hoping that the other rims show up and I can just send you down there with the production rims.
Cool.
So that would be a very nice test.
Yep.
So we'll see. But yeah, I was when they messaged me and let me know that, hey, the rims and everything look good and that they're already jamming along through.
They seem really on the ball. That's good.
Well, I think, see, the thing, I could be wrong, but from what I've observed with these guys over the years is they made the best touring car tires.
Mm-hmm.
But what it seemed like is other places could make decent ones,
mm-hmm.
and with the advent of handout tires, the kind of competition for the best tire went away because it was more than about who could supply the cheapest tire.
Yep.
For it to be a handout event for the touring car stuff. So we went from having really good and high level tires to race with
to have an average junk.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff we ran on for
stuff.
Yeah, they're just hard. They're a lot harder, and the quality wasn't as good because, well, you didn't need to. Everybody was on it. It was an equal playing field, so might as well save a few bucks and run something cheaper that's made somewhere else. So with these, this kind of gets them back into the game of being able to use their technology and knowledge, work with us with the designs and stuff, and make some really good stuff. So I think in that respect, for them, it's a huge motivation and a huge fun thing for them because it's challenging again. It's not just let's bang out
same boring stuff.
A couple thousand pair of touring car tires. Yeah, do they last this many runs? Oh, okay, whatever. So I think for them too, this is also a really fun project. So they've already asked about when were we coming to Japan and bringing you over to do some little shots at the factory and nice. Stuff like that. So
that'd be cool.
They asked for a drag car. I said, I don't think you want something I built yet. let me learn how to do it, and then I'll build something and box it and send it to you guys. But yeah, they're super into it as well. So
awesome.
it'll be really fun to see.
You got to be interested to kick out good product, no matter what business you're in. And it's good to see the interest there, with you too. I mean, it's great seeing how interested you are in this stuff. It's awesome because I remember seeing you this interested in your race program back in the day. And when you're interested in something, cool shit's going to happen, and it's good to see.
The racing stuff back in the day, I mean, it was just fun to, I mean, even still now, I mean, look back at some of the old cars and stuff, and I'm like, man, that might have been really good if I would have not screwed up this. Type of thing. So there's a lot of stuff like that I think this project and working with some of the stuff, and the printing stuff and whatever, I mean, it's really allowing me to just get stuff out of my head and draw and print it. That's no, that sucks. That's a bad idea. So in that respect, it's really fun. So we'll see. But I don't know. Let's see. Anybody have any questions? It can take 3 pairs of wheels for one really true pair. What do you think? If a lot of them are like that picture, or that video we got, I don't think it's gonna take.
That'll be good.
I don't think it's gonna take that many.
No, it shouldn't.
Yeah, they were. If they can hold,
if they're within 5% of what that video shows, there's nothing to worry about.
And if we can run them through a pretty good volume, those will be ridiculous. So the funny part is, I already have people asking me to mount them for free mounts.
That's a lot of work, man. Mountain tires.
I don't know. Let me see how long it takes me to do one. I mean, they do fit in the rims.
I hate mountain tires.
Really nice and everything, but at the same time, that's when I was laughing. I was telling my wife about that, and she's like, "How hard is it?" I'm like, "I don't know."
It's monotonous, is what it is.
Yeah, I started laughing. I said, "I don't know." Well, you might have enough of them coming soon, so we can try one or two and let each of the kids
see what you think.
Let your mom try one. I'll try one, and let the girls each try one. And then we can see, how hard it is and who did them the best. And then that person's going to get the job of gluing them. Like, oh, man, someone's going to hate it. I'm going to end up sitting there gluing them anyway. I know how it's going to work. Let's do this. Hey, Dad, glue these.
They'll be in charge of the pre-mount department.
Yeah. So I mean, they do like seat in like super nice, super good. So I mean, there's definitely
it's an awesome tire.
no
And
issue.
the width of the wheel is about the same as a Showtime, right?
Yeah, it's 50 mil.
Yep.
So I think 1 mil wider. But
so if you hold that tire up, look at all the contact patch. You're using all 50 mil now.
Yeah.
Instead of stretching a narrow tire on a 50 mil wheel and giving up 7 or so millimeter of contact patch, now you've got the same width wheel with more contact patch. And if that thing don't improve 66 foot times, I'll be shocked.
Yeah, you're gonna have trouble keeping the front end on the ground.
Yeah.
I mean, when you do that, it's kind of crazy. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm pretty excited to see once everybody starts running them and the feedback and that stuff. So, and they did do the test fit on the air valves for the guys that want to run air. Those all threaded in. They sat at the right height so that they should be sealed up, and they still had the travel range before it hit the, I don't know what you want to call it, whatever, the
valve.
Yeah, the molded part, the what do I call them? The valve port cavity or whatever the hell you want to call it.
Gotcha.
So they had enough travel for all that. So that was one of the things I was a little bit worried about, is if their tolerance on that was slightly different than when I drew, if they would sit in there at a little bit different depth or have any issues. But the pictures they sent and everything on the production wheels and what they measured and on the test fit, was awesome. So yeah.
Gorgeous.
Frank Campbell says Frank is my hero. Gary Campbell says Frank is my hero.
Don't say that, man. There's a lot to live up to then.
So we'll see. I'm pretty fired up now. Now I want to see him run. Now I don't want to go to my kids' state hockey tournament.
Well, my
screw you guys. There'll be a state championships next year. This is the first time I get to see these things run.
My plan when I head south, I think I'm going to go to Okeechobee for a couple days. I talked to Jim this morning, and I'm going to roll through a few different combinations of the tires and foams and figure out what seems to be working at that track. And I'd like to stick a set on one of the local racers' cars too, to see somebody else's thoughts, see whose car is running pretty decent with either voodoos and reactions, and just do a tire swap and see what their thoughts on it are.
Cool. So yeah, sounds good. Yeah,
try to get some more feedback.
Yeah. No, that would be good. I keep debating. I was kind of laughing. I know everybody would be like, well, everybody already has started messaging me. 1, where's Matt orders? When? 2, how long are they gonna be? Yada yada yada. So
give us a minute to play with the foam and rubber packages, to see what works on a pretty I'd say middle of the field track. Okeechobee's got good traction, but it's not super high bite. You know what I mean? Gotcha. Let's figure out which tire option works there, and then we can go from there and with suggestions for higher bite or lower bite. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'd hate to see you send some super softs with soft foams to somebody, and their track has just killer bite, and you just wad them up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They would definitely end up just having to throw air valves in them just to make them work at that point. I still think the foam would help with a little bit of lateral.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna run on something, high enough bite, I still think that if you're gonna run super softs, the medium's almost a necessity. I'll be really curious once I get them mounted up and start doing like the bounce test and some durometer tests on that. Because the nice part is too, the sidewall is big enough. We can actually durometer the sidewall and the top of the tire, so we can get a pretty good like ratio comparison on how the tire is going to react in a few different ways. So
yeah, you got a lot of racers all over the country right now, kind of getting away from air and going to foams.
Yes.
Personally, I would never run a tire without a foam in it. I've tried just air, and I never liked it. It was just the consistency wasn't there for me. It was a pain in the ass. Even with these, like say I've got super softs at the track and I think it needs a little air, I'd much rather have foams and then add maybe a pound of air to tune it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Rather than just depending on air by itself. I think that's going to be a great option, and people are going to love that. I think the foams with a little added air for tuning if the bite comes up or if you feel like you need a firmer tire, it's going to be a really good feeling tire with foam and air.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that's kind of crazy too. I mean, I know our 3D printed wheels got a lot of air volume. I
Hmm.
mean, when you start looking at like
Yeah.
that amount of foam, I've heard talk of wanting a lot more air volume for running air so that you're
Yeah. It's
basically it gives a more linear spring rate to the
yep.
tire. Well, that's I mean that kind of shows you
Volume.
how much volume is in there different to
Yep.
our tires as well. So again, I think it's going to change everything a lot. So,
Yep.
and like I said, this to me all gets back to the car setups to where I think you're going to be able to take them and put them on a car and still be able to run good numbers straight away.
Hmm.
But I think once you actually kind of like, okay, wait a minute, these do different stuff.
Yep.
What other avenues can we work down to make the car even better to work with them? That's when I think they're really
Yeah, like you could take a
guys
24, 2,500 pound or 24, 2,500 gram car and
yeah,
drop it to 21, 2,200 and still have traction. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And maybe pick up some mile an hour up top because
yeah.
the less weight, I mean,
And I
it's
and
going to
I
be a little
understand
different.
I understand, guys, the point of getting enough weight in the car to be able to get the forward grip
Yep.
and the stability. But I think, as we've talked about, I think this solves a lot of that. So,
It should. Yep.
that's again where I'm really curious. And that's where, I mean, I know everybody kind of like, this guy's an idiot when I talk about 1.56 and 94 mile an hour. But
No,
if you
it's
can get that first 66 down with these and it stays stable on top, that's
yep.
not that's not that far away for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, a little story. Early last year when I was running the hobby wing and I just started playing with tire prep, um, I was leaving pretty soft, like with a dry frequency of say 16K. And the car was running like 199 at like 80 on the GNSS. And I got the tire prep down a little more, and I got the car to where it would handle 12K dry frequency. So it left harder, and the result of it, the car leaving harder, it mile an hour more too. I
Yeah,
mean, it went from high 19s at 80 to like mid 19s at 83. It picked up 3 mile an hour just because how much harder it was leaving in the first 60 foot and how much more power you could put down.
yeah,
And I see something similar that's going to happen with these tires, in my opinion. I
yeah.
think if I can get the 66 foot down a half a tenth to 3/4 of a tenth, it's going to gain 3-4 mile an hour on top of it, just like it did at the beginning of last year.
Yeah, and that's kind of where when we tested with you out in the cold, that it was already seen because you already thought it had just more grip, from
Yeah.
launch through the center of the run, to
Yep.
where you seemed really confused that it was also mile an hour better,
Yeah.
up on top. So, and
Because
that was like I
it was
said
putting it
afterward,
down low. Yep.
and afterward you were kicking yourself for not putting more power in it
Yep.
because it held so well through the run, it didn't do
Yep.
anything weird. So that's I mean, I think that's to me is going to be the most interesting thing is when you really start trying to lay into them and seeing, all right, where's going to be the break point, and
Yeah.
how stable they're going to be when you do hit that break point is the other thing I'm curious about. I'm really hoping that they're, if you guys do snap them loose, that they're maybe more drivable or collectible, if you will, to be
Yeah.
able to pedal and get back into it quick. So
I'm looking forward to create new issues with CVAs and shit like that. So I'm already anticipating it.
yeah,
So
snapping roll pins and stuff like
all that.
that.
Oh yeah, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, yeah, that very well could happen, huh?
Yeah. If it happens, we fix it.
Yeah,
Make something better.
make bigger ones.
Yep. Bigger and
That'll
lighter.
be awesome. Yeah, true. Yeah, that'll be interesting. So, I think the big thing too is especially even in I know you don't worry about it as much, but like the spec classes, the weight will be huge.
Oh yeah,
I don't think people
enormous.
realize the
13.5.
spinning weight,
Yep.
how much of a difference that gives. For example, like Voodoo over
Reactions.
reactions or DRCs
I
or
think,
other
in my
tires.
opinion, that's the biggest advantage between a Voodoo and a reaction is the weight.
Yeah,
If you can hook up a Voodoo as good as a reaction, you're going to have an advantage because of the weight. Um, but like I said, the Voodoos and the reactions, it's just two different worlds with rubber. They
yeah.
like different sauces. They like different techniques for prep. I mean, it's
And that's one of the things. Ours is going to be the same way, but I mean
yep.
they're soft enough to where I don't. I mean this is the medium.
Yeah.
I mean So I think the range is good enough on these to where you're probably not going to want to or need to do a bunch of conditioner unless for some reason you want to make a medium into a super soft. But
Yeah.
at that point, just get a super soft.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
But so it'll be interesting. I'm sure all the conditioner and prep guys will be
they'll be melting tires.
But I think once everybody opens a bag and like, oh wait, we don't know that smell. That's a new smell. So
yeah, if you can make the tire work with its natural rubber and natural compound in it still, I'm 100% of the time going to say that's the best way to go. It's like that with any racing, any rubber tire racing,
Yeah, I'll be honest. I've been still working on them, trying to get them to let me buy the oil the tire is made with to use that as like a conditioner. So if you want to put anything into it and, do like touring car style and tire warmer them up and bake them in like that, that's going to make the most grip. That's naturally what the tire is made with anyway. So, but they still, they don't want that out.
I think conditioners have their place. If you got an old tire or something, and you want to kind of bring it back a little bit, conditioner with either wintergreen or something like Frank Greer stuff will bring it back. But you just got to be careful with that stuff because it chemically changes the tires so much. Yeah. It can be easy to get really inconsistent with your tire program if you do it differently with different sets of tires.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of guys doing the bag-in routine and a lot of that stuff. And
yeah, I've tried it. I do it once in a while for certain tires, but
yeah,
all the tires seem to like different programs,
Yeah. Well, the problem is then the more you have to chemically alter the tires like that. I'll give you an example. Like I went and ran, late 90s, early 2000s. I was running actually a lot of off-road, like from as soon as Cleveland finished till like maybe 2-3 weeks before snowbirds. I would always take an on-road break and just run this massive amount of off-road. And we went to the off-road race in Columbus, and my truck was not very good. Stock truck we were running. Adam Drake was there. He wasn't running. And he's like, man, your truck pushes so bad. He's like, what setup's on it? So I showed him, and he's like, they shouldn't be that bad. And then he's like looking it over, puts the setup on it like his, and it was even worse. He was only running mod. And he's like, you know what? I got the front tires for you. And he hands me this pair of front tires. I TQ'd. I drove away from everybody. So like I'm saucing my own tires because Adam's like, I'm going to need those back for modified tomorrow, right? And I'm like, oh man, I'm not going to be able to turn in a 40-acre field. But I had the same tires. I had the same foam. Like I sat there smashing on them and everything, trying to break them down, and had them in bags and warmers and spraying stuff on them and lighting them on. They never turned as good. I could never get them like with the 6 months of soaking with everything else like he had to get those tires to work. So, as you know, I was really against having something that everybody had to use all these crazy chemicals to get them, soft enough to where they're going to hook up. So that's where, I think too, maybe on a first field, maybe these are too soft, but then if you were to take something that's cut off of a tire that somebody's really soaked the hell out of, maybe these aren't that unrealistic type of a thing.
No, the voodoo, once you start soaking the voodoos, man, they're mush. I durometered a pair of reds earlier that haven't been touched with anything with firm voodoo foams in them, and they were around 19, but if I started coating them with some of these chemicals that are out there to start breaking it down, I guarantee you there's red voodoos out there that are like 10. You can easily knock 10 points off the durometer with coating these things and treating them.
And it depends a lot on the rubber, how much all that stuff's going to eat into them. So I think I don't think these will be quite that.
Yeah, I don't plan on conditioning any to test. So
no, I wouldn't.
Nope.
And for break-in, I think it's just going to be put them on the car, and you can either make test hits or just drive them up and down the.
I'm gonna break them in with half track hits.
Yeah, I was gonna say just some like S turns just to make sure you kind of wear them a little bit.
Yeah, a couple trigger pulls.
Yeah, I don't think these are gonna need the crazy sanding or anything like that. I mean, again, that's out of the package. I mean, like they don't. I mean, the dust that's on them is from my mitts. Like so.
I usually don't even knock the seams down on my tires with a sander or anything. I just throw them on.
I did sometimes in touring car stuff,
Yeah.
but for the most part, most of the races, even that, we were trying to just run a couple laps on them and scuff them and then go. So, I didn't really deal too much. The only thing I did do, I don't know what I did with them. I got a brand new pair. I have like the little flush cut nippers.
Yeah, yeah,
So if any of the stuff's like really big, I'll trim off some of this little bit of
yeah.
flashing from the
Get
mold
it
line,
close.
but that's about it.
Yeah, one burnout, one pass, two passes. That's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
clean anyway.
Will the offset be correct to fit the Apollo? So the offset, the wheel is 1 millimeter wider than a Proline Showtime, but the spacing is 7 instead of 5.5. So basically, with the 1 mil, you lose the half. So technically, you should have 1 millimeter per side narrower with these wheels. That's it. And I just did that because of the sidewall shape versus what everybody's been running now. Because when you put those other wheels with the 2.2, it ends up pulling and rounding that corner.
Yep.
So it's just to give a tiny bit more clearance to the body. 1 millimeter, though, I don't think is gonna change the world on any of that stuff. So
very similar to the Showtime. So if your car works with the Showtimes, it should work with these.
Yep. Yeah, it should be plug and play. So like I said, I didn't want to change any of that stuff too much. I know there's some guys that like running the real deep offsets, but I didn't. I think there's more running this style than the other way. Mm-hmm. So this made more sense. Somebody actually asked me about making it so the wheel could like go in reverse, but then that would make it really wide. So it's too far to like be able to go quite.
All these cars now have different length arms, and you got different length hexes you could use. There's so many options to make the width whatever you want.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too bad.
Nope.
So, all right. Oh no, my mouse is dying. That's what the error keeps popping up here. All right. So anything else on here? I don't think so. Doesn't look like there's anything. Anybody have any questions? We'll let Frank get going back to the kiddos. You can drag race ace across the living room there.
Mountain bodies tonight.
Mountain bodies. Oh boy.
Working, never stops.
Well, I gotta do printers and sand tires and box stuff. That's honestly, I'm gonna tell everybody right now. I really hope these tires are amazing because while it's fun making all these godforsaken rims that everybody's ordering, and I really appreciate the support. It's awesome. I'm glad so many people like them. It does make me sad when guys crash at 80 mile an hour and break them. But thank you for the support. But at the same time, I really hope these new tires are really good and I never have to print any 2.2, 3.0 rims for you guys anymore.
No more 3D wheels.
I will be so happy if these new tires put that whole freaking side of my 3D printing stuff out of business and I can go on to other things.
Let the kids print dragons with that shit.
Yes, for sure. Lots of dragons.
Prototype parts.
What's that?
Prototype parts.
Yeah.
You want to try something
dude,
cool?
I'm serious. I still want to get back to that whole 3D printed drag car.
I think that'll be cool.
That thing is so freaking big. I can do a one-piece wheelie bar. Think about it. I can do like a whole proper tube frame looking wheelie bar. Like
you could. I might need one for next week and a lightweight one.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll snap that sucker, but it'll be fun to see.
Yeah.
I still want to try and. They're so expensive. I really want one of those topology optimization programs.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm smart enough to run it, but man, that would be so fun to just make some, put some stresses and some loads in. Here's my connection points. Make me something cool looking and
get something that scares people when they look at it, but it works.
Yeah, something that looks like some T-Rex skeleton or something.
Yeah.
All the crazy bone structure that those things create. I don't know if anybody's ever seen that kind of studies or analysis like we see at work, but man, that stuff's so cool.
Very cool.
Yeah. So we'll see. So that's what I want to do with that. There's a ton of other stuff. As I told you before, that thing is big enough. I can do like the width of a body. So I don't want to make a mold. I want to see if I can print It might be 2 or 3 pieces, but I want to see if I can print a no prep body that'll actually run down the track and not explode off of that thing. So I might actually have to do that somehow.
That'd be neat.
So we will see. We will see. Lots of fun stuff.
Lots of projects.
Yeah. So we'll see. It'll be nice to get these out though. So I'm hoping everything will be here and we'll start shipping some stuff out the March 7th week, like we've been talking about, and we'll actually make our target. That will be like my happiest day. Taking boxes to the
targets get hard to meet, man.
Like I made it. Well, I tried to put in a few weeks of padding, but I did not expect Japan to be hit with like a snowstorm that they've like never get. You know, they were like shut down for like 5 days.
Well, you're on track.
Just all the nylon issues and everything else. So the fact that we're still almost making it, and I didn't like go insane, and I still have hair. It's pretty good, you know. Hasn't all fallen out yet. So
no, you're good. March 7th. It's the 21st now. You got a couple weeks.
Yeah. And don't tell my kids, but I hope they lose at state so I can come to Vegas and hang out and watch everybody run. They're not home.
Yeah.
Don't watch this, kids.
You gotta root for the kids, man.
Yeah.
They might have more fun in Vegas, though.
Yeah. Oh.
You got to bring them.
No.
No?
They got school or something.
So they got something?
But let's put it this way. The other day I was laughing because I'm sitting there doing a bunch of stuff, and I look over and, Angel, what are you doing? She's looking at flights to Vegas.
See, they're going.
She wants out of here too. She's had enough of the cold. She wants a break. So I'm pick a package in foam already. This is gonna suck.
It's nice, man. You can make it like mini vacation.
Yeah. Well, we didn't do snowbirds like we've done all these years. So So we'll see. But yeah, I'd really like to come and see and meet a lot of people. So I have so many people messaging me and asking me questions and stuff, whether it's, dealer stuff or other things, so I kind of chuckle like, let me get to some races. So, and I did send all my logo stuff to your tent dude.
Cool.
So
he's good.
I'm looking forward to getting some proofs from him hopefully soon. So
awesome.
We'll see.
Very good.
So if I do actually show up to anything, then I'll look good.
Yeah, you look official.
I won't be just the dude sitting there with a card table in the parking lot.
Selling tires out of your trunk?
Yeah. So I still got to see if I can bring one of those. See if we can shroud the cover enough to be able to let it run at the track and print keychains or something stupid to hand people.
That'd be cool.
I can check it out and see how it works.
You need one of them Pelican cases.
Yeah. Dude, they're already too heavy.
I know.
It's going in the seat with a seatbelt on it.
Buy its own ticket.
Those things are too heavy.
Yep.
So
awesome.
All right. Well, I'm going to let you get back to the fam.
Right.
I'm going to answer the pile of messages that I'm watching
tabulate
up in my phone, and then get the deck over here from Lynette running, and get back to sanding tires and wheels. So
enjoy.
Less people will message me asking where their order is tomorrow.
Yep, there you go.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
All right.
Do all that good stuff. And Frank, catch you later. Looking forward to seeing you try and break some tires and go real fast here real soon.
That's what we'll do.
All right.
All right.
Later, guys. See ya.